Hi, everybody. My guest today has lived the things we've talked about so much, has done the job, has pushed through, has done the busyness, the performing, made the money, was all the things until it didn't work for her anymore. And her body started saying something, screaming at her, and she listened.
So glad
Elizabeth
to be here.
Neal,
Thank
thank
you.
you. So happy to have you here. Thank you. I'd love you to introduce yourself. You
So my name is
do
Elizabeth
all the
Neal. I also go
things.
by Liz, and I'm a soul liberation coach. And I specifically serve women in their unbecoming all of the things you've been told to be, all of the shoulds, the way to perform, the way to achieve success, because there's only one positioned way for you to succeed. And really excavating all of the ways that you've abandoned yourself and getting back to center, to truth, to alignment, to really coming back to soul, who you are on a soul
Mhm.
level, and how do you lead your life from soul, from wholeness, in a very extractive and capitalistic
Mhm.
society that is constantly feeding women messages that you are not enough. You're not smart enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not successful enough. There's this constant need to prove yourself and to justify your existence in this society, whether it's in motherhood,
Yes.
in your career, in each and every area. And so we're often all performing and
Yeah.
wearing a mask because we receive this message, and it starts from a very young age as a young girl, that it's not safe to be exactly who you are as you are. And that's how we start to silence and suppress and
Yes.
oppress. And that's when we start to create that distance from who we are to who we need to be to survive.
Oh, I love that. Please
And I
keep going.
think thank you
Yeah.
for being such a beautiful bridge and sharing a little bit about my story. The moment you shared the pushing, what I wanted to say is that my body pushed back. I pushed as hard as I could. I pushed through. I sucked it up.
Mhm.
I silenced myself. I put
Yes.
on the mask. I did the role. I performed. I excelled. I was the overachiever, the perfectionist, the people pleaser. I rose up higher and higher in my career, right? There's so many of us. And you keep climbing up
Yeah.
the ladder and you do the act. You perform to
Yeah.
what you've been told to do, to go to school, get the degree, pay your dues, climb up the ladder, and you're hoping that you're doing all of this because peace or joy
Right.
or freedom is on the other side. And then you
Mm.
find out it isn't. And that all of the pushing and performing has been at the expense
Yeah.
of yourself, your body, your health, your peace, your relationships. So I had all of the things on paper, all of the checking the boxes of success. And I was taking 30 pills a day
Right.
to just function. I had all of these
Oh,
autoimmune diseases. I was
right.
so deeply depressed. And I'd
Mhm.
love to tell you the story of my body just said it's time, and I listened. No, I had to hit rock bottom. My body had to push back
Right.
so hard because I
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
ignored it for so long
Yeah.
that I had to hit the
Right.
rock bottom burnout where I couldn't even open the windows because the debilitating migraines were so painful. And it was rare to see me without an ice cap around my head because it
Oh.
was the only thing that helped. And to go from that
Oh
to soul
gosh.
liberation coach, my business was
Mhm.
birthed from my burnout. It was my reckoning of
Yeah.
whose life are
Yeah.
you living?
And you have to always go through that, like, that fire,
And it feels
right?
like fire. I say
I
this, I talk to the
yeah.
women that I serve, I talk about this identity threshold, and it is walking through the fire. You have to burn away, and it's this excavation of peeling away all of the things that you placed on yourself to feel safe and worthy
And I think it starts, like you said, from
very
school, but,
early.
like, elementary school, right? That, like, you have to do all the things and be in the clubs and do the extracurricular activities to get into the right college, to get the
Yeah.
right
I would add
life,
it even
right?
starts
Like,
before
and
that.
I
Actually, I
I
even want
think
to go a little bit earlier because even as a young girl, when you think about the roles that are
true.
impressed upon you in your family of
Mhm.
origin as caretaker, as the
Right.
pleaser, as the
Right.
nice girl,
Yes.
right? Oh,
The
the
starter.
responsible one.
Yes. Yes.
And we are naturally positioned to
Right.
be
Exactly.
caretaker, regardless of how old we are,
Mm.
often just because
Right.
of sex or gender.
Yep.
And that starts so young. And then it's just
Mhm. So true.
reaffirmed
So
throughout
true.
all of these other
Mhm.
establishments that you go throughout in your life.
Yes. Yes. I love that. I would love to, because I feel like so many of us in this world are like, oh yeah, soul and ego. But I would love to step back and I'm like, maybe a lot of people don't know what that is. And I had a person I was talking to today and she didn't
Mm.
realize that there was like another voice until I started talking about it. And I was like, wow, you get into this industry or world and you quit, but then you think about people who haven't had that education yet, right? So I would like to say that ego is the one you're probably always hearing. Soul
Mm.
is that quieter voice, like that intuition. And I think as women, we all have a pretty strong intuition.
Mhm.
We listen, the stronger it gets. Is That's the voice that tells you, no, this is the right
Mhm.
path, not that one, right? It's that one you have to sit back and listen to.
I love
But
this.
I'd love to hear what your definition is.
I
Like, what
love
would
this
you say
question.
soul?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So for me, it's interesting. I think especially for a lot of high achieving women or high functioning women, regardless of whether you're in corporate America or you're a mother raising your babies, fear is the voice that we know so well. And we can't always trust our thoughts. And we're
Mhm.
not taught this. We're not taught to distinguish what is fear versus what is intuition. We're not taught that there are different characters that
Right.
take over that command center. There's this concept of the inner critic that I talk about in this body of work that I went through my own healing journey through We Are the Women. That was the organization that supported me through my healing journey. And there's this concept of the inner critic. And you
Okay.
can think of this as like the bully, and it's fast paced. It's always fast. You can
Yeah.
think about this as like the mind chatter that's telling you essentially, you're not doing enough. That's wrong. That's not right. It's really this hypercritical, fast paced,
Yep.
fear or scarcity driven chatter. It's not slow. It's not inviting, right? It's forcing you to
Mhm.
either freeze or run
Right.
or hide. And it often will show
Mhm.
up in your body in overthinking and overanalyzing. So maybe that's a
Yeah.
headache, right? Or heart palpitations, like your heart feels like it's racing.
Right.
Because again, your nervous system is activated. This feels like a threat. And this feels like, how do I survive
Right.
this threat? Whereas
Right.
intuition or the voice of your inner wise woman, right? Gentle, nurturing, supportive, slow. You mentioned this whisper. It's often an
Mhm.
invitation. And when you listen to that voice,
Yeah.
you feel clearer, aligned, peaceful, supported. You can think
Mhm.
about it as the most nurturing, loving voice, your
Right.
cheerleader. The way that you would talk to a child is honestly the way
Right.
to distinguish the two. So one is really forcing kind
Yep.
of quick action, and one is like a slower invitation.
Right. Yes. And I would even say too, on top of that, is the ego is the one that looks at what everybody
Comparison,
else has
judgment, yes.
and wants that.
This in the voice of joy, of love, of really, and you feel it when you follow
Mhm.
that path. When
Yes.
you trust and you listen to that path, so much peace and openness and expansion and ease follows versus the constriction of the
Yes.
ego and the fear. Again, things are
Mhm.
tight. And I see this in a woman's physiology.
Yeah.
I see when fear comes up, her voice, she'll often talk like a child. Her shoulders will be slouched forward. Because you're protecting
Mhm.
yourself, like you're literally like in the fetal position,
Yes.
bracing, the
Right. You're
shallow breath.
bracing.
And I
Yeah,
see it when a woman
exactly.
listens to her intuition and her
Mhm.
power. I can feel it in her solar plexus. Her shoulders come back. She sticks her chest out because she's leading from heart, from truth, from soul. Her voice will often deepen because she's connecting with her power, her truth, her
Right.
knowing. It's a very real, like you see the physiological
Yes.
shifts in a woman when she's accessing those different points of herself.
I love that you brought this up because I've talked about this in
Mm,
other podcasts as we talk about the bracing so much. Like when you see women
yeah, your
fist
jaw clenched,
close,
even
right?
that
Shoulders,
tightening.
like you said, knees. Yeah, your knees are locked, your hip flexors fire, like all these things. And a lot of it's because your adrenaline spikes. And so it's not a tiger behind you. It's whatever has just triggered you from a bad
And it feels
email
like death in the
to
body.
protection
Doesn't
to
matter what it
whatever
is.
fear, right? But it's really your brain is telling you your body needs to run because we are freeze right now because there's a tiger. It's not past that caveman stage, but yeah, it's that total like bracing, protecting. It's not just a physical thing, it could be just the energy in a room. So
I
you to
think
kind of
women
feel that as
are
you walk through this
wired to be
life.
very communal. I think our intuition is our superpower. It's just a matter
Mhm.
of how
Yes.
suppressed has it been because you've hidden it and distrusted it because we live in a
Yes.
society that says don't trust yourself, seek outside of yourself. look for external validation.
Mhm.
Don't listen to that voice. Listen to the
Mhm.
expert. So listen to everything outside of you. And this is the way that we give away our power. But when a woman is in her power and her knowing and trusts herself
Yeah.
and knows herself, there's so much freedom in that because you realize you don't need the product. You don't need to go here and there, and you don't need the boss to validate your worth. You just know it inherently.
I love this. I'm a manifesting generator, so I get a little bit like, yeah, all the things. Okay. We've talked about this before, and the people that listen to this podcast regularly know this. I, similar to you, was in a marketing role, corporate, 3 kids, bar teacher, helping market a bar studio, homeschooling my kids, husband traveled constantly. Like I was doing all the things all by myself. And I got to a point where I didn't want to get out of bed. And that's so not like me. I am like early morning, get up, get going. But it got to a point like, God, showering sounds exhausting. I can't. So there's got to be something going on. What helped you? You said you hit rock bottom. I think for a lot of people just said, this is life, right? This is normal
It
for a
doesn't matter
way.
how much time has passed. Anytime I reconnect with that moment, it's like I time travel. And you and I have a lot in common, similar to you. I also
Mhm.
had a longstanding marketing career, was an executive, and had worked in various industries, was constantly leaving jobs, searching for the thing where I would feel I was searching. Anytime we hold what we want
Right.
outside of
Yes.
ourselves, we will never have that thing. It will always be just out of reach. And because I was constantly looking
Yes.
for that freedom and peace
Right.
and just
Exactly.
feeling safe and secure. And
Mm.
that burnout was the best gift. I don't think I would have done it. I don't think I would have
Mhm.
listened had my health not been
Yeah.
stripped away from me. And there was this moment where things were just
Mhm.
so hard and it just
Yeah.
felt like life was suffering. The suffering can become addictive. We can become addicted to the stress.
For sure. And I think as women, we can play that victim very easily. Our
And we can
go-to
become so
shadow, right?
addicted
The
to the
victim.
stress, the achievement, even the feeling of burnout
Mhm.
and the
Mm.
suffering. And there was this moment, like that
Yeah.
that question of it was just so hard. And I just had this internal question of, is this all there is? And I was so terrified to know the answer. I
Yeah.
was terrified to know that there was something more and I couldn't have it, that I was too broken to be fixed, right? Or that it wasn't and that this was going to be my life. And at
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
time, I had hopes of becoming a mother, but my body was so broken that there was no way my body could even hold a child. And so there was this moment
Mhm.
of it was absolute despair, but it was the thing that kept me open to anything. And it was in that moment, just with that question alone,
Yeah.
that my mentor appeared. And it was the path that taught me there was a new way to live and to lead, and that I could really honor my femininity and my feelings and my intuition and my body. And it
Mm.
helped me listen, to really be in the stillness, to learn how to trust myself, how to
Yeah.
love myself, how to listen to myself, and how to choose myself again and again. And ultimately, I have this question so often of how do you live authentically? How do you live the soul aligned life? What's the secret? And it really is coming back to that choice,
Yeah.
that sovereignty of choosing myself again
Mhm.
and again. Is this aligned for me? Is this still aligned for me? Listening to my body. Does this feel like contraction or does this feel like expansion? Because I think accessing your intuition when you've suppressed it for so
Right.
long and everything outside of you is telling you don't listen to that, that's not valid. It's not data. It's not concrete. I need proof. I think it requires so much repair and building of trust. And I think that trust happens in those small moments of
Mhm.
to myself with a small decision. Do I choose this shirt or do I choose this shirt? And just know it's something simple, right? Because you have to build up your capacity. You got to start
Right.
small. You got
Yeah.
to build up your
Gotta start.
capacity to hold
Exactly.
a different possibility. Because what is often confused is that when we talk about the
Mhm.
nervous system and ego, is that we can confuse familiarity with safety. And this is when I talk about suffering, is that suffering can become very normal.
Yes.
It can become very known. And the unknown, even if it's
Mm.
better for us and would serve our well being and our health, can feel so dangerous. So we stay in the suffering because it's known. The women that
Yes.
I know in my circle, they
Huh.
didn't listen to the first
Right.
sign. They didn't
Right.
listen to the 100th sign. They didn't listen to the 1,000th sign. Their bodies had to break down before it was like enough. And my mentor has she has
Yes.
this phrase
Yes.
of the universe
Yes.
will send you signs. It's always sending you signs. It's whether you're listening, and it will hit you over the head
Oh, yeah.
with a 2x4 for you to listen. And that was the case for me. It had to get
Yes.
that hard. And so it was an
Yes.
irrefutable truth where I couldn't explain it away or justify it or try the new job or do the new thing. There was a soul
Right.
suffering that was happening. Like there was
Right.
such a
Right.
misalignment in my life. It wasn't my life that I was living. And I think that's the path for a lot of these women is that when you start to feel these
Right.
body whispers, these body signals, right? The heart palpitations, the heart rate racing, the migraines, the headaches, that's so common in a lot of the women that I support. A lot of the autoimmune diseases or the unexplained medical condition where the doctors don't know what's going on.
Yes. Yes.
The gastrointestinal
Right.
issues, like your body is screaming at you to listen. And when you learn how to
It's screaming at
listen
you.
and
Exactly.
you
Yes.
are able to approach what's happening in your body, that this body temple has so much wisdom inside of it, and that you are a sovereign creator of your life. You are a co-creator of your life. There's so much more that you have access to that you can do than what you've been taught is possible.
Yeah. Yeah. And I always laugh because I always think of like the signs and then I'm like, can you send me a sign to your sign? Because I don't know if that really is a sign.
Listen, I just said it this week.
I
I
want a
said,
sign to your sign.
universe, please send me a sign that is so direct in my face that I can't not see it. Sometimes subtlety doesn't work for me.
Right.
And
Exactly.
you know
Like I
what?
need
When
some
I've asked that,
billboard.
it's been very deliberate.
Right.
And something just happened this week that it was like, okay, thank you. That's really clear. I got
Yeah.
it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Like, show me the billboard. I need it. I need
Exactly.
it. First,
Yeah, I think it becomes this training, this
thank you.
retraining and rewiring, again, of trust, of being able to
Yes.
listen to yourself, of going inward and seeking your answers are within. Your body knows the answer.
Yeah.
It's, can you be still enough to listen to it? And in a culture that's
Yes.
constantly saying, go, don't slow down, because if you slow down, you're going to fall behind. And if you fall behind, that means you're going to fail. And if you fail, it's so fear-based. There's so much scarcity.
Right.
And women are pitted against each other to
So
compete,
fear-based.
to prove. And so there's no space for slowing down. It's
Yeah.
not safe to
Yeah.
rest.
100%.
We have to be productive and doing. We're not told be, just be. But honestly, that's the medicine that a lot of
Right.
women need, is permission
Well,
to be.
yes. And I think there's this guilt that honestly on the other side of this, having gone through this, and not that every day is perfectly healed and wonderful, but like listening to women say, I feel guilty if I'm not producing. And that just breaks my heart. Right. And I think, and I've been saying this for a long time, is I think a lot of the women that are going through these similar issues that we've talked about and have been through ourselves is because we've been living in the masculine, this doing, this yang for too long. And our bodies, like you said, are screaming at us. Like the feminine is finally, you're done. You're done. You need to come back into the body. You need to rest. You need to do things differently. On what I'm talking to women like you and my clients, seeing what's out there in the world of this feminine reclamation. Like we are, not that it's changing overnight, but I feel like there are little teeny hints here and there that I'm seeing of like,
I think
women
there's
being
enough,
more and more like,
there's this
we're
collective
done.
enoughness.
We are not going to do this.
Because there's so much collective suffering. It's not just women that are suffering.
Yeah.
Men are suffering too, with the suppression of the fact we
Right.
all hold these masculine
Right.
and feminine traits. There hasn't been a woman I've worked with that hasn't been overcome by guilt, shame, or judgment. And my question to her is always the same. Right? Is this yours? What message did you inherit?
Right. Yes.
Like, whose message is this actually? And it's never hers.
Mhm.
It's something she made meaning of or was made to
Right.
believe about herself. And the thing is, I think as women, something that we really need to
Yes.
acknowledge is the fact that we're not only holding all of the shame and judgment and comparison and insecurity from this lifetime, but this is ancestral, right? We carry this in our DNA.
Sure.
There has been so much ostracizing of women.
Yes.
And how convenient is it for you to feel guilty? Because who benefits by you feeling guilty? How much more easy are you to be controlled
Right.
influenced, manipulated. And I
Yes.
invite women to stop being
Mhm.
convenient, to
Exactly.
really sit with what are you tolerating in your life? And I think for the women that come to this
Mhm.
sense of like enough,ness is what are you no willing to tolerate? Because all of this overextending and overgiving and people
Yeah.
pleasing and
Yeah.
silencing yourself, it's hurting you. You are the one that's suffering. It's happening at your expense. And often the body has to scream before the woman
Mhm.
acknowledges, even has enough awareness to say, wait a minute, is this the life that I actually
Right.
want? No one's teaching you that.
Mm.
You hear this message as a child of what do you want to
Right.
be when you
No,
grow
it's
up? It's the
so true.
what, not how do you want to live? How do you want to experience life? What are your unique gifts? What is your unique
Mhm.
light and medicine that you want to bring to the
Mm.
world?
I
And how
love
can I
that.
support that and champion that? Imagine as a little girl growing up with that message versus defining
Yes.
her
Oh,
worth in relation to how
yes.
she
Yes,
supports
I'm
or
just, like,
cares
thinking
or
of that. I've
serves
never.
others.
Yes. I love that, and I think about, it's such a question. It's a slight reframe, but it turns it 1,000%, right?
Yeah.
How.
Because when a woman comes into her power and her
Right.
authenticity,
Yes.
there's edges because the people in her circle have gotten very used to her being
Mm.
convenient. And when you stop being convenient and you start being true to yourself,
Yes.
it initiates others because then they see how they've been operating by your
Right.
overextension. But again, who does that benefit by you being riddled with
Yeah.
shame or insecurity or guilt? Not you. Yes.
No, no, definitely not. Oh, I love that. Tell me more about what the work that you do, what that looks like when women come to you and know they need help already, know you are the person.
So
How do you
what's
help them?
interesting for me, and I think this was going back, like connecting this to my story, is that moment of questioning. Because it's not about knowing, it's not knowing the path or knowing that you need healing or knowing
Mhm.
that it's even a soul issue at that point. It's that questioning of, is this all there is? That's that moment. So a woman comes to me at this pivotal moment of
Yes.
curiosity of the pain and the suffering has become so loud. The fear is so loud of I don't know how long I can continue going at this pace. Like the health concerns get so big and so loud
Mhm.
that again it becomes an irrefutable. I have to look at my life. Something has to shift.
Yeah.
And so they come to me often with a
Right.
lot of these body whispers, these body screams that are happening in their body. And so the work that we do, I use this term intentionally, is this identity threshold, right? Where it's this mismatch of who you've been
Mm.
is no longer who you're becoming. Your soul is asking you to step into alignment. And that starts with coming back to the body. I have my first tier program is called the threshold. And it's this unbecoming. It's this moment of the shedding of the masks, the performances of shoulds, of really getting
Yes.
you to a point where you can actually hear yourself. You can hear your voice, your heart, your soul, your intuition. You
Mhm.
can start to be in relationship with your body versus overriding your body because that's what's leading you here is this overriding and ignoring and pushing through and sucking it up and really looking at all of the ways that you are abandoning yourself today internally in your relationships and supporting a woman with being able
Yeah.
to access her deeper truth and knowing and to start to build that confidence. And then she steps into my next tier program, which is called the Ascent,
Mhm.
right? Because this work takes such deep courage. This is, like you said, fire. It is walking through the fire. It is so deeply uncomfortable, but through that contraction is this rebirth, is this expansion of possibility. This empowers a woman to make different choices in her life, to be able to set boundaries that she didn't think were possible, to be able to choose careers that felt like they weren't even on the table because she was following a path that was laid out for her. So
Yes.
in this rebirth, she gets to forge her own path of
Right.
how do you want your life to look like? And so the Ascent is supporting her with how do you create a soul-led life?
Mm.
How do you create the capacity and the safety in your nervous system
Yeah.
and clear the energetic density of all of these illusions and distortions that are keeping you captive, that are keeping you in a cage in your own life? Because you're performing to
Yeah.
somebody else's expectations due to abandon yourself. It's why you feel this soul exhaustion. That's the burnout. The burnout is really this soul exhaustion, this deep misalignment of I'm not actually here, I'm not actually doing what I'm
Yes.
here to do. And so this is your soul's way of pulling the levers of okay, you're
Right.
not
Oh, I
listening, you're
love
not
that.
listening to the signs.
Me
Let me make it
too.
so loud that you have to face it. And so through the ascent, she comes home to her.
Yes, I
That's what
love
it
that.
really is.
Soul
That's not the term.
exhaustion.
Like when I was burnt out, that's not, I wasn't thinking soul. I was like, I need
Yeah.
to survive.
No. Right. Right. Exactly. But I love that on the other side, knowing, right? Because I think that's
Yeah,
such a good visual
that's what it really
for us to go,
is.
because I don't have words. I know something's wrong and I'm not feeling good. And I term it health and wellness or what, but
And
it's
the thing is, when a
actual
woman like
soul
faces
exhaustion.
that, and when she
Yes.
starts to really excavate and shed, very often the physical symptoms either lessen in intensity or subside altogether. That she can shift from
Yes.
that she can become her healer, and that she can actually work in rhythm with these signals, and that she
Hmm.
can listen to them at the stage of a whisper versus crisis. And that's a major shift that leads her to feel more
Right.
empowered in her sovereignty, that this is
That
my
is.
body. I know how to work with it. I know how to listen to it. I know how to trust it. I know what I need.
Yeah.
And everything
Yep.
changes. Like her relationships change, her choices
Right.
change. It's this light switch that turns on. And a woman in her light, when that switch is turned on, she is confident, she is courageous, she is audacious, she's wild, free,
Yes.
peaceful.
Yes.
She speaks what's
Yes.
actually on her heart and on her soul. She's loud and she's unapologetic about it. She claims what she wants, and every woman
Oh,
deserves
yes.
that. But she comes online. And when she does that,
Love
her
that.
intuitive gifts naturally come
Mhm.
online. And so she has this new GPS for navigating life,
Yes.
and she gets to do it on her terms. And that woman is genuinely revolutionary. And when you talk about the collective and how it doesn't happen overnight, each woman that chooses herself and that comes online, the ripple effect is so grand because she naturally wants to share and to
It
uplift
is.
and to serve and to change her family, her community, her culture at work. She wants to be the ripple. And it's it lights me up. It's what I'm meant to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And it's the most rewarding thing in the world.
I know. I can tell. Well, yes. And I love feeling that fire and passion because it is infectious. And I think, like you said, with women,
Community
around
is so
other women
important.
that have that same passion is
Oh,
just infectious. I love it. Thank you. This has been amazing. I have a couple of fun questions to ask you that I ask everybody, all my podcast guests. What is
tea.
your favorite morning
Tea is
drink?
my soul medicine.
Okay. Do you have a certain flavor you go
Yeah,
to or
so
just
actually
kind
I
of
have a dear
what you're in the
friend
mood
who she
for?
started a tea house called House of Wish. And so I actually get custom tea for
Theater.
my soul medicine tea, which Blue Lotus is the primary
Oh,
ingredient
I
there.
love.
That is just soul medicine for me. And yeah, my tea is my sense of safety
Oh,
and home. It's part of my daily ritual. It's my way of just really being able to slow down, connect with the earth,
I
connect
love
in
that.
gratitude. Also, I would say cacao, which she also has as well. And so I just got to show her some love. Her name's Dina. She's the owner of House
Yes.
of Wish. And yeah, just that community of being held by other women who are in
She's
their
amazing.
magic and in their light. Like that's the beauty of the network is when we all come in line, then we support each other. And so that's my medicine.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Oh, I love that. Okay. And what book
I
are you
love this
currently reading
question.
or listening to?
And I have it right here. Right here.
Oh,
The
well,
girl who
yay.
baptizes herself. I have been on this journey really exploring this against soul connection with Mary Magdalene. And Mary Magdalene Revealed was it's my favorite book of all time.
Mhm.
And so this is the same author, Megan Watterson. And really just reading these
Really good.
stories of women coming back
Okay.
to center, coming back to their power, their intuition, their heart knowing that the heart
Yes.
is the seat of your soul.
Yes.
And when we come back to that, everything we need is internal.
Yes.
And so I love that question. Thank you.
Oh, I love that.
Highly
Yes.
recommend.
Okay. I'm going to put that on my list. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Thank you guys. If you have any comments, I'm going to leave below how you can find Elizabeth and the amazing work she does.
Thank
Comments for
you.
us? Have a great day. All right.